Hi guys, welcome back to DAT. In this video we are taking a look at the Emax Babyhawk II HD. We're going to be running through the complete setup, we're going to be doing test flights, and then we're going to be doing an overview at the end of this video. Stay there guys. So here's the Babyhawk II HD. Box is a little battered again. I always seem to get a battered box in the post, but the drone's okay, so we've got no issues with that. It's one of those things, isn't it? So here we go. Box opening, and what we have are some Emax stickers, nice little stickers. We have information about the Caddx unit, and I know the Caddx unit in here is the actual Nebula Pro. So it's a very nice camera to have, pretty much almost identical to the actual DJI camera. And you've got a little QR code there for instructions and support. And take that padding off, and here we have the actual quad. Very nicely packed in the foam, very well protected, looks absolutely superb. And you obviously got a set of props, conveniently down the sides, there's the props. And you've got a bag of little spares here, so there's some extra bolts and nuts and stuff, but most of these are actually to put your propellers on, so there's some little bolts there to stick your propellers on, so that'll be fine. And here's the actual quad herself, looking absolutely superb, I must say. I'm very keen to actually try and get this out and get it flied, or fly it even, because I've heard really good things about that. And it has good reviews all over the place, so yeah, very keen to see what she is like and how she performs. So yeah, she looks really smart, doesn't she? There's the actual antenna, there's the unit, which is actually mounted into the top plate. Quite a unique sort of way of mounting it. And you've got the battery power is at the actual front, and that's on an XT30. Camera there, there's the actual Nebula Pro. Superb little camera, it is a nice little camera. There you go. Let's move this and we'll run through some quick little specs. So let's just go through some specs of what's actually in this little quad. And we have in here, obviously we have the Caddx Vista, she's right here. This is, like I said earlier, this has got the Nebula Pro in it, which is an absolutely cracking camera, to be honest with you. You can't fault it. It is pretty much as good as the actual DJI camera. It's really good. And this is supposedly a sub 250 gram quad. We will weigh it in a little bit. It's recommended that you actually run it on an 850 milliamp hour battery, and I've got plenty of those, we'll be flying it on those. It's 155mm motor-to-motor wheelbase, and the motors on here are the Eco 1404, and they are 3700 kVs, so they should be pretty punchy. Obviously you've got the 3.5 props that are specifically designed, they say, for quads like these, so they're supposed to be absolutely superb. Looking forward to seeing what those are like as well. The actual board in here is an all-in-one. It is an F4 board. It has a 25 amp ESC built in, and yeah, that should be pretty good. One thing I've seen here, and I've seen a note on some places, these actual motor wires here, they do stick out a bit, so we're gonna have to put some tape around them just to make sure that they do stay down. That's the only probably the only thing I'm gonna do to this, just to make sure that they do stay down and out of the props. But she looks really cracking, doesn't she? The carbon fiber on here, this is supposed to be a 4.2mm thick, and she does look quite chunky, to be honest with you, so she should be able to take quite a good crash. And that's about it, guys. That's about the whole thing there. I've obviously got Crossfire in here, because everybody knows that I do love Crossfire, so the receiver's in there, and it looks like it's got a micro antenna on it, just there. And the antenna on the back obviously comes with the battery strap and the props, like we said. So yeah, she looks cracking. Really like the look of that. Really keen to get her out and actually get her flown. What we're going to do now, we are going to bind up the receiver in here with my transmitter or controller if you prefer. And you're going to need a battery for this, because the actual USB cable won't power the receiver in here. So make sure you have a battery prepped. I've got my Tango 2 here. I already what I have done is I've duplicated an existing model that I've set up. If you're unsure about the setup, how to do this, I have another video which will explain absolutely everything you need to know. So do follow that one along, come back, and then the binding procedure should be very simple for you. So that is set up, ready to go. Quad needs the battery in it. Plug in the battery. That is there. Got the lights all going. And I do need to press the button on there, so I need to... There's a tiny little button on the receiver I need to be able to get to. Normally just here. There we go, he's starting to flash green. There's a tiny little button there. That means he's ready to bind. Go into my controller, press menu, select crossfire, and then scroll down to bind. Press the bind. This has gone green. Update micro TX or RX even. So this is going to update the receiver in there. They're going to communicate. They're going to update and prepare everything absolutely perfectly for you. So we're going to let that do its thing, and then I'll be back and we'll go through the actual Betaflight settings and stuff. There we go, guys. What has happened there is the controller and receiver communicated with each other and they've been updated. We now have a solid green light on the controller, solid green light in there on the receiver. If you can see that, it should be a green light at the back. So they are bound absolutely perfectly. So what we're going to do now, which we have to do with every quad, guys, every quad you get, every new quad, you have to connect it up to Betaflight. Make sure your sticks are in the correct positions and everything's set how you want it to be set. So what I'm going to do is make sure the sticks are in the same correct position for me to fly and the switches are how I like it. Then we'll have a look at the actual PIDs, but I am not going to alter the PIDs. I'm going to leave it as it is because Emax should do a great job at tuning these. So let's connect the quad up to Betaflight. We'll get a battery back in a second because we'll need that to do the actual receiver. USB cable connection is here. Plug her in. Connect her up, over to the receiver, get rid of that stupid warning there from my computer, whack a battery in the quad.
Telemetry recovered.
There you can see on screen that it's spinning like a madman. There it is. To do this, do your sticks, guys. I'm going to show you obviously because I need to change it, but I've done another video about the sticks. If your quad's spinning all over the place, do check that out as well. It's linked up there in the little info signal. So basically these letters here just need to be A, E, T and R. Press save and there, quad stops spinning and you can check the sticks now. So throttle is throttle, roll is roll, pitch is pitch, yaw is yaw, and that is absolutely perfect. So that's exactly how we want it to be. Set up perfectly. So the only thing I need to check now is the modes. And we've got, that is right for me, but I need it set the different way. So I like my arm to be that direction. I'll press save on that. So that'll be on for me. Red for danger, so red's on, no red is off. Angle mode, I'm going to get rid of that because I'm not going to fly angle mode. Horizon, I'm not going to fly it. Beeper and flip over crash. It's on the wrong one. So let's just set the beeper again. Add range, and that's where I want my beeper. Press save, and that's done it there. So the other one, flip over after crash, I always like it on here, and that's on the wrong switch as well. So get rid of that. Flip over after crash, add range. And that's where I want it. Press save. side, all the other ones. And that is exactly how I fly my quads right there. Very minimal. There's the beeper working. There's the flip over after crash. That's my arm. All done. So that is absolutely everything that I need. If you're unsure about these modes and how to set up your switches, like I said, I've done other videos about this, so please do check those out if you're getting lost or you're confused about what to do. They're all there, guys, and they're there to help you. If you've got any questions as well, do comment below, because I really do try to get back to you all if I can help at all. So there you go, that's all ready to go. So for me, she's pretty much ready to fly, because we're only going to have a look at the PIDs. Excuse that fan, it's my computer, it seems to be playing up a little bit. But there, we are going to leave the PIDs exactly how they are. We're going to leave the rates how they are as well. Because she's a little 3-inch, then obviously the rates are going to be slightly different, and Emax should do an amazing job on these flight tunes. I've had Emax, I am a bit of a fanboy, to be honest with you. I do like Emax products, so Emax should do a great job on this one as well. There's the filters, and we're going to leave those exactly how they are. One thing worth checking is just to make sure that they haven't reversed the actual motors, and they haven't. So it's standard propeller installation, and I have a propeller video as well if you want to check that out. So there you go, that is it. We're not going to save and reboot. Everything's on crossfire. All these settings are absolutely perfect. I have done a propeller installation video if you do want to check that out, but this is pretty much the basis of it. So propellers obviously have this angle of slopage. If you can see that, they have an angle on them, and obviously that's to generate the lift. And if propellers or the motor's direction hasn't been changed in Betaflight, then you basically want this angle pointing down towards your quad. So that is how I remember it. So those go down and those go down, down towards your quad. So one propeller, 2, 3, and 4. So you have them all down towards your quad. If in Betaflight the motors are reversed, you basically want these sloping out, so you just reverse it. It's really simple, guys. That's how I remember it, and it never fails. So there you go. I'm not going to bore you with getting the actual bolts in, but there's a whole bag of bolts there, and I'm going to get these bolts in. Don't fly these just by sticking them on. I'm going to put the bolts in. I'm just not going to bore you by doing it. But she looks great, doesn't she? She looks really nice. A nice little craft there, so I'm really, really keen to actually get out and fly her. She will be, hopefully, she'll be really, really good. One thing you always have to do if you've got a new Caddx Vista or a new DJI Air unit, you have to register it with the DJI Assistant, FPV Assistant application. She won't be able to use it, and then you have to bind it to the goggles as well. So we're going to quickly run through that right now. I always forget this on my actual videos, so sorry about that. So FPV Assistant app is running, and this is a USB-C cable, and it just gets plugged in like so, and then we need some power, and this should connect. Should connect. Let's come on now, let's see if it actually does it. No, yes, it's done it, there we go. It's really slow for some reason. So that recognises the air unit. Start activation. Confirm my account. Next. A lot of agreeing. Confirm and confirm. Activating. And there you go. That's activated. So that's complete. I'm sure there will be an actual update required. This is Unicode. I know there's a slight new. Let's just confirm. We're going to do the update, and then we'll actually buy the goggles. So I'll be right back. So there we go. That is just updated. Absolutely perfect. So I'm going to unplug this now because it's going to be really hot. And take that connection out. So there, we've just activated the actual Caddx Vista in there, and we've updated the firmware, so she is properly ready to go now. Well, actually one last thing, and that is the goggles. We need to bind the goggles with the actual Vista unit that's in there. It's a very simple process to do. You need the battery again, plug her in, And there is, right here, my camera focuses, there's a very small black button on the Vista unit. Press that, and it goes into bind. Power up your goggles. And then in your goggles, I can never find this button. Just here, find a proper tool. Just here is the bind button. And that is it. You just heard the beeps, that bound perfect. Check the picture, and if you can see that, there is a picture in there. So there. Now unplug this before the Vista unit explodes because it's really hot. So goggles are bound, Vista's all updated, we've done all the settings, we are now ready to go for that flight. Hope you enjoyed those flights, guys. I have to say, I really like it, to be honest with you. I know I like pretty much everything that flies, but this is pretty good. I like the weight as well. It's light. It is light. Let's weigh it now, and I'll show you how light it is, actually. So let's turn these scales on, and I'll tell you more about what I think about it. So there, without battery, 143. With the battery is 241. So way under the 250, which is absolutely ideal. So you can pretty much fly that wherever you like. There are some rules though, guys. Do be aware of them. Don't take my word for these things. So yeah, she is really light, as you saw there. And because of that, she floats a little bit, I feel. And she does, I love the way she does power loops. I probably did a few power loops in those clips that you saw there, but she floats really well. There's a lot of hang time, which is good in some instances and not so good in others, because you can't really throw it around like a 5-inch, I suppose. It just sort of disappears now and again. But it's really nimble for like car park ripping and stuff like that. Quite comfortable flying around a small car park or a bit closer to towns and stuff like that. So yeah, really do like it. I did try to do some freestyle with it, and I did crash it a couple of times. I have to say, I had to replace a motor. So I had one motor that I had to replace. You can obviously put new motors up for about £8 over here. And what happened is, I actually landed on one of the motors, and it actually bent the whole motor over and in, and it wouldn't start at all. And I have got another one that's on the way out, so these actual motors aren't the strongest. They will bend if you land on them. There's obviously not any protection, or just from landing on the props itself actually bent the shaft of the motor. So they're not the strongest. If you do crash and do full-on freestyle, you are probably going to have to replace a motor like I did. But that's how much I actually liked it. I liked it a lot. I actually replaced the motor. So yeah, I did like it a lot. Really nice, really nimble. A couple of things to point out. The battery strap, I've replaced the battery strap on it because the actual battery strap they supplied is humongous. It's huge. And it does actually get in the way, or will get in the way. So I just replaced that. I also didn't like the position of the power cable. I'll show that up there actually. So I actually attached it to the side. It initially comes through this hole here. And when I was plugging the battery in, it just seemed like there was too much pressure, and it actually rubbed against here, and I had to put a bit of tape around it because actually it started to defred the wire, and you started to see bare wire under there. So that wasn't the best. So I've just clipped it here, as you can see right there. And that seems to work absolutely fine, to be honest with you. But you can see there, the actual cable came off. You can see it's getting a bit dodgy, so I'm going to have to replace that at some point. But yeah, and something else to point out, I suppose, the Vista, they've actually used this Vista as an actual structure. So it's actually like a strut, which might not be the best, but I have crashed it and nothing's happened to it. But yeah, apart from that, guys, yeah, I really do like it. It's light. It's not the quickest. If you're in big open spaces, you want to get to one end to the other, you're probably going to be quite slow. But if you're ripping around little car parks and stuff like that, little trees, in the garden, if you've got a big yard, yeah, she is brilliant. Really do like her. Flight times, I was getting anything between like 3.5 to 5.5 minutes, like they say. Didn't get the 8 minutes like they say on their packaging, but that's probably because I wasn't cruising very much. But yeah, do like that a lot, guys. That's going to be in my bag, and because it's actually small, I can actually chuck it in my bag quite easily. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Smash that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.